Death, taxes, and Chelsea beating Tottenham, but it was Thomas Frank's Tottenham, the new, pragmatic, intelligent, canny manager Tottenham. Surely Chelsea's amazing record against Tottenham can't go on in this new iteration of the Spurs? Well, it did, and you know what? Clean sheet, no red card, Joao Pedro getting back on the score sheet, Rob Sanchez having what can only be described as a really good game, Fofana returning to the lineup, Chelsea's investment, huge investment in the likes of Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo being truly vindicated in this game. A high-profile affair in which SofaScore gave Vicario player of the match, and this is one of the most dominating 1-0 wins you will ever see. This was almost like vintage Jose Mourinho Chelsea, yeah? And I actually felt safe. I felt good. I felt like this was Chelsea. And this was not an easy game. To go away to Tottenham after this recent disciplinary record of ours, fluctuating, results, and get no dismissals, keep a clean sheet, and take the points. And I'm almost like uniquely happy that we defended a 1-0 lead. Of course, it would have been nice to get the extra goal, and we would have gone above them in the table into third place. But that's kind of like whatever, yeah? I'm just so pleased with this result, with the performance of Chelsea, with the decisions from the manager, Enzo Maresca, because I was being a bit silly in the opening. Thomas Frank's a really good manager. He really, really is. He suffers no fools, and and this is a great win. So we can do the double over Tottenham again this season, like we did last season. It's an amazing record. I feel like eventually, they'll have good players and a good manager, and the record will even out. But no, we are the owners of Tottenham Hotspur. Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. This is, of course, your post-match reaction to Tottenham 0, Chelsea 1 in the Premier League. We're going to talk about it. We're going to look at the player performances and talk a little bit about the ramifications and the narrative. All of that, as you can see, I've put more of the old Chelsea memorabilia stuff up behind me to add a little bit more decorative vibes to the situation here. A reminder, for late kickoffs, there's a good chance I won't do post-match reactions instantly, and it might be the next day. But the fact how there was no Chelsea news video this morning, and it was a 5:30 kickoff, quite happily do a match reaction, especially after beating Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League. So, let's take a look at how we lined up. First of all, it was a 4-2-3-1 formation from Thomas Frank. Of course, Vicario in goal. They very much missed him midweek when they got eliminated from the Cup. So, he is a really good shot stopper. I mean, like you can see here, he's the highest rated player on the pitch. Danzo played with Van de Ven, but Romero, of course, magically spawned back into the squad and featured in this game. I think their first choice, or is Udogie first choice, but Porro and Jed Spence, of course, England international. Bentancur and Polinia, good operators. Bergvall went off early doors for a concussion substitution, of course, which doesn't count as a sub. And then you got Pat Matessar, Kudus, and Kolo Moani. Quite pragmatic, and which worried me as well. A lot of physicality there, not much creativity. But what it did afford was Chelsea the opportunity to demonstrate what is technical flair, footballing ability, and we knocked it about beautifully. Just the defending was amazing, the press off the ball was amazing, the press resistance in possession, some of the one-touch football that all of the attackers got involved with. Now, Pedro Neto got a really bad SofaScore rating. I don't actually think he was that bad in the game. Of course, Stevao comes on. We'll speak about who started and who played well, but the general play was excellent, yeah? Really, really good. Of course, because of the concussion to Bergvall, as you can see up the top there, Xavi Simons comes in. Of course, wants to think with Chelsea. He's not had the best time at Spurs yet. And in terms of Spurs subs, they've, as you can see here, 6 players because they had the concussion substitutions. Simons, Romero, Richarlison, Udogie, Johnson, Odegaard comes on. So a lot of their big hitters. We played and can I just say, a little moment to pat myself on my back, because 2 games in a row in a team that's ever changing, always changing under Maresca, I absolutely nailed the lineup for the second time in the row. And I did say I think Gusto and James will start. James will start in midfield next to Caicedo, and Enzo Fernandez would be in the 10. And ooh la la, what do we have here? I called absolutely all of it. The only substitution I didn't call is I think I said I don't see Lavia coming on. I see a Santos coming on. But actually, because of the game state, because we were defending a 1-0, and because of the opposition substitutions from Frank, Lavia was like the smart money move. So I'm really pleased with the manager's managerial coaching performance today. So yeah, we'll speak about player performances in a little while. Robin goal, like I assumed, Trev on the left centre back. Like I assumed, Wesley coming in to play right centre back because Josh played 2 games in a row. Cucurella left back, Gusto right back. Now, Gusto playing as a right back. He comes inside a little bit, as you can see in the heat map when he's forward, but that is ostensibly a fullback. A right back he played. So like I said, not so much inverting. Same with Cucurella, a left back. There you go. Nailed it. Not only did I nail the lineup, I nailed the tactics. Not to blow my own trumpet. Caicedo is a one-man midfield, slightly playing on the left. It really was a 4-2-3-1. And then Reece James similarly, but again, Captain Reece playing all over the gaff. Did very much a captain's performance. Enzo Fernandez, we'll talk about the bookings. He probably only a 6.8 because he got that yellow. Some people were saying it could have been a red. Absolutely not. It wasn't his studs. It was like the side of his boot and the studs, and he was pulling out, so it wasn't dangerous at all. Joao Pedro playing the ultimate false 9, and Garnacho playing as the left winger. They had some great touches himself. So statistically, let's talk about domination. Away from home with the lion's share of the ball, nearly 3 XG. Yeah, with Chelsea Football Club quality of players, this game needs to be 3-4-0. Genuinely, if you get 3 XG and you've got good finishers, you can win a game 4-0. But look at this. We reduced Tottenham Hotspur at home to 0.05 expected goals over the entire game. Do you have any idea how much of a masterclass that is? Do you have any idea how much of an absolutely incredible performance that is in their own home stadium? I know he's a pragmatist, Thomas Frank, but he still gets goals. Look what he did to Brentford attackers. How many goals he got out of them? Bomo, Johan Visser, Kevin Schade, and other man out there. Do you know what I mean? Ivan Toney. He got goal. He knows how to get goals out of players. 0.05 XG is nothing short of a defensive masterclass from Chelsea's. Look at that, 0 big chances to our 6 big chances in a game. 15 shots to their 3. That is 8 goalkeepers to our saves to our 1. I don't want to be hyperbolic here, but this was genuinely a masterclass from Chelsea as a whole. Apart from, again, so 3 XG, 6 big chances. 6 big chances. The only reason we only scored 1 goal is because, look, Vicario, yeah? This guy, player of the match. 8.6 rating, absolutely incredible. But still, despite all that, you'd have to say Chelsea need to do better in finishing chances. There was a few moments. There was Joao Pedro should have had a hat-trick. Of course, he scored a great goal, but there was a moment where he met a volley very well, but it was straight at Vicario. There was another moment where he definitely should have laid the ball off to Pedro Neto. That's why I feel a little bit bad that Pedro Neto, as you can see, has got such a bad rating of 5.6. I don't think it was his greatest game, but he was in the right places a lot of the time, and he was, harrying and pressing. So I think he's been done a little bit dirty here. But as you can see, the attacking momentum meter here is all blue, Chelsea, the away team. There's a bit of green, but it's totally unthreatening from Tottenham Hotspur. So let's quickly talk about it. Caicedo on the only goal of the game. It was a great finish from Joao Pedro to put it where Vicario couldn't save it. But it's all about Caicedo. It's a double high turnover. It's a double tackle. Progresses into the box, gets between the man and the ball perfectly, and then lays it off for Joao Pedro to score the winner ultimately in the game. Man of the match for me is easily Caicedo, possibly followed by Enzo Fernandez. Let me know who you think performed well down in the comment section, because Caicedo, it's been getting on my nerves that everyone's suddenly this season going, oh, he's really good, isn't he? When he cleared up in our awards last season, winning all the awards. He's been amazing for 2.5 seasons. Yeah, it was only the first 6 months of his Chelsea career was a bit shaky, and that was only because he didn't get a pre-season and there was all the stuff with Liverpool going on. But yeah, so let's talk about the fouls. Okay, so there was a foul from Jed Spence, it wasn't a red card. He should have got booked. And there was another one later in the game. He was sort of rattled. He should have got a yellow, possibly 2 yellows. Did he get 1 yellow, Jed Spence? Let me just double check. No, he didn't. So he had 2 fouls that were both people were looking at going, "Ooh, was that a red?" Neither were, but both were yellows. So man should have been a red card. Didn't even get 1 yellow. Of course, the big talking point was Bentancur on Reece James on his ankle. Now, it could have been a red card. What I'm going to say is what I said on my Instagram halftime live is 2 out of 3 times, 2 out of 3 times, that is a red card from the ref. And so it's like, 2/3 of the time. If it was like 4 out of 5 times, it's usually a red card. Then VAR, that's the kind of threshold. Not like, oh, it's undeniable. He snapped his leg. It's like, oh, I think you've missed one here, mate. This is definitely, that's when VAR get involved. Basically, if the ref gives a red card for that, there's no way the VAR getting involved to overturn it. And, they were just on the cusp of not getting involved for that. So I've got to not have blue-tinted goggles here. I do think most of the time, you probably, 55 to 60%, maybe like 60 to 65% of the time, a ref might give a red for that if he sees it properly. But I don't think it's like some sort of disgrace that he wasn't sent off. But I totally understand how he could have been. That's like my way of looking at it. So yeah, that's what happened. Chalobah is booked for arguing part of that challenge. Needless. Reece looked complete disbelief. But amazing captain's performance from Reece James. It's probably worth me saying actually now on the referee that it was a very weird referee performance. Like, it's the kind of one where you had Carragher, saying, oh, great, he's letting everything go. And, these games are spicy between Chelsea and Tottenham always. So it's good that he doesn't blow up for everything. But there was definitely loads of fouls he should have blown the whistle for. A lot of in the favour of Chelsea that weren't forthcoming. I don't think it was the greatest refereeing performance ever. I actually think he was like perhaps oddly rattled in the first half and just decided he's not going to blow for anything, and that made for a very peculiar and actually poorly, governed refereed game in the first half. But there we have it. And then we obviously go into second half. There's changes in the 60th minute. We see Romero come on and Richarlison as well. And at that point, I'm thinking, I'm not sure if I like this. We do see Gittins come on for Garnacho pretty early. Of course, Gittins had an amazing midweek performance, scoring an absolute wonder goal and getting 2 assists. He missed an absolute sitter here, didn't he? Late on to make it 2-0 and save them, make the points doubly, triply safe. It was an amazing move, amazing ball from Enzo Fernandez, who had, again, an amazing game, and he skies it over the crossbar. Hasn't scored a Premier League goal yet, but he scored that goal he scored midweek was like an absolute world-class screamer. And it was completely deliberate, amazing technique. So I'm not worried about his finishing generally, but yeah, he'll be gutted. I mean, fortunately, we won the game, so he won't be lying awake at night thinking about that miss. But yeah, I get it. Him coming on for Garnacho. We'll speak about player performances. And again, Gusto comes on for Lavia, which was the correct move. Before the game kicked off, I chose different subs. But in this game state, 1-0 winning, there's been at this point, there's been 5 changes from Tottenham, and they're really going for it. Maresca's like, right, let's get Reece James in that right back position to defend the flank properly, like better than Gusto will, and let's put Lavia in midfield. And it would, Lavia for Gusto was the intelligent, the appropriate substitution. Again, I can't. This is the last time I'll say it, but I think it was an excellent performance from the Chelsea manager. Game preparation, game state management. He absolutely nailed it. And then, of course, Neto for Stevao in the 85th minute. You could argue that should have come a bit sooner. And then Wesley Fofana for Tosin to sort of probably burn time and just get height in the box. Because I think at that point, Romero was staying forwards. So, player performances. First of all, Rob Sanchez in goal. I know he didn't have to make many saves, but he made loads of claims. Loads and loads of claims. And I still have PTSD from watching Kepa Arrizabalaga. I know it was a while ago now, but he'd never come and claim the ball. And then obviously when Mendy, who didn't do it loads, but did it like a normal amount for a goalkeeper, it seemed like he had some holy gift when he came in to replace Kepa, and he started doing that. But Sanchez, very, very assured, especially after watching Jorgensen midweek. Yeah, great. I mean, chapeau, Rob Sanchez. I'm definitely, as much as I give him a hard time, I am massively concerned about him. But if he performs like that, I know he wasn't up against much because the defense and the tactical setup in front of him really limited Tottenham. But yeah, massive flowers for him. Cucurella, fine, got inside the opposition heads, which is part of his game. Gusto, good performance because he's playing as a right back and he's not playing in the midfield. We like that from Gusto. Trevoh Chalobah got a yellow, but I also think he was good. I think Wesley Fofana is very good. Some of you guys give me a hard time here. He was the highest rated player of the back five, if you include the goalkeeper Wesley Fofana, with a 7.4 rating. I love him as a player. I think he's an amazing ball carrier. He's a very aggressive defender. He can score a goal, but he's just so intelligent where he puts his body and the way he lets balls run and blocks not passing lane, like runner's lane. He'd be a great NFL player, defense player, but he's really good the way he knows how to sort of put opposition players, and I love watching him defend. I always wax lyrical about him. When we got him for £69 million, I thought we got an amazing deal. I thought he easily was going to be a record for a defender, like 85, like Maguire. But of course, injuries. We know the story with Wes, but if he gets back to what he could be, again, him and Colwill, the plan A's back on. Do you know what I mean? Speaking of bringing back injured players from the dead, Reece James and Neto. Neto used to be made of glass at Wolves. He's just always available for us. But Reece James, captain's performance in midfield, excellent. Let's just go through Neto. I mean, he's been nerfed massively here on SofaScore. Yeah, maybe not his best performance, but he was lively. He was fine. Joao Pedro got a goal. Probably should have had, if I'm being really fair, should have had at least 2. I'm not going to say you should have had 3 or 4, but he should have had 2 goals. Yeah, he had an expected goals of 1.7. So for a forward of Chelsea's caliber, you want them to be getting 2 goals maybe, especially on a day like today. I think Garnacho was fine. I totally endorse him starting over Gittins' role in midweek, away from home, playing a mentally exhausting game. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, Garnacho scored against Sunderland. He scored a goal. It wasn't his fault we lost 2-1. He did his job. Do you know what I mean? So had some good touches here. Probably a bit frustrated to come off, but faded. He does fade, but I'm broadly very happy with Garnacho. But the 2 talking points for me were vice captain Enzo Fernandez, who's amazing, and Caicedo got a decisive assist. It was just incredible. He's just incredible. I don't like to be hyperbolic, and I rarely am on the channel, but he's the best midfielder in the world right now. Like, no one can chat to him. You can talk about profiling, you can talk about different sort of, midfielders doing different jobs, like your Vitinhas, your Pedris. Rodri is not fit, so he's not sort of being included. People talk about Rice. He scored again today. Great, he's fine. He's good, Declan Rice. Caicedo is the best midfield. He will run your midfield. He will drive your attack. He'll protect your defense. He will give you assists, and he will score the odds absolute screamer. He's the best midfielder in the world, and I won't have it up, anything else. An amazing performance, and a masterclass. Let me know your thoughts. Please do leave them down in the comment section below, and I hope to see you back here soon on the channel. Do like and subscribe. All right.